want to welcome you to this week's Question to Ponder. The Bible is full of questions, and finding the answer to those questions can really transform our lives. There's a great man of God in the Bible. I've been teaching a Bible study on him. His name is Elijah. But in his life experience, there's a question that is asked by God towards him that we need to ponder today for ourselves. Here's the context. We're in 1 Kings chapter 19. It said, Ahab told Jezebel everything that Elijah had done, how he'd killed all of the prophets of Baal with the sword. And she sent a messenger to Elijah, said, may the gods deal with me ever so severely if by this time tomorrow I don't make you like one of them. Elijah was afraid, and he ran for his life. Then he went into a cave and he spent the night. And the word of the Lord came to him and said, what are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing here, Elijah? Here's what I want you to focus on today. Elijah had just had the greatest victory of his whole life in ministry on Mount Carmel when he called down fire from heaven and an offering was consumed that had been saturated. The 450 prophets of Baal had been destroyed. And it was the hallmark of his ministry. And then Jezebel, one angry woman, says that I'm going to have you killed. She puts a contract out on him. He stood before 450 men, fearless. But the threat of one angry woman, he was afraid. He ran for his life. In fact, he ran about 30 miles. And he was so afraid, even though he's exhausted, he hides in a cave. And then God comes to him and says, what are you doing here, Elijah? Two things he's battling with, maybe you're battling with today. One is fear. He's afraid of this woman. She's an evil woman. She never makes threats. She only makes promises. He really believes that God is not going to protect him and she's going to kill him or have him killed. Fear makes us do some strange things. The second thing he's dealing with, and that comes out in the rest of the verses and his interaction with God out of the cave, he's very discouraged. He thinks that everybody in his nation, all those who are supposed to be worshipers of Jehovah God, have backslidden. They've turned their back on God. They've become traitors. And God has to explain to him, not only are you wrong, you're wrong 7,000%, because there's 7,000 other people who have been faithful to me. Are you discouraged today? If you're discouraged or afraid, it confuses your thinking. It takes away your clarity. It puts you out of the will of God, because God's will is that you live victoriously in his presence. Stay close to the Lord. So maybe on this day, the Lord is saying to you, sir, or to you, ma'am, what are you doing there? Emotionally, the state that you've allowed yourself to, what are you doing there? You're a child of God. Spiritually, what are you doing there? You're supposed to be more than a conqueror through him that loves Christ. If you love Christ, you're a conqueror. You're an overcomer. What are you doing there? What are you doing there relationally? Maybe you've put yourself in a situation, you're at conflict at home, you're at conflict at work, you may be in conflict in your church. Pause, stop. Hear God say, what are you doing there? Maybe it's time, like Elijah, to do what God said. Here's what God said, I'm leaving it with you. He said, come out of that cave and listen. And God speaks to him with a still, small voice. If you would get alone with God, be quiet. Don't say anything. Listen. You will hear the still, small voice of God. And you'll hear him say that he loves you, that he's going to help you, and he's going to see you through. Thank you, Lord, for guiding us out of the cave of despair into the sunshine of your love.